Welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, starring Rocky DiStefano, Phil Pasquale, Delano Williams, and Mark Mullen, with featured guest former NFL pro Antone Davis. Fantasy football, real results.
What's up, and welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. I am your host, Delano Williams, and the boys are back in town.
Yeah, Mark got his first shout out there, but Mark, don't get comfortable. I mean, any of us can be replaced. That's all I'm saying.
Easily.
Guys on the practice squad.
He got called up to the big show, but
Hey, he's been starting a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Have a rebuttal once my microphone turns back on. There we go. All right.
How's it feel? Go ahead.
Now I can retort.
What was it? What were you going to say?
What was I going to say? All right. So
Thank you.
Actually, I was a little.
we were saying
Hey,
that you got called up from the practice squad. You know, you're part of the official intro now. That's a big step for a young man.
Yeah. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get it edited this week. I'm in it. We don't just talk about it. Then it's
that'd be
to
terrible.
be seen.
Yeah, terrible.
Just dangle it in front of me like a carrot.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely check out our new intro, and Mark is shirtless in that, and which I thought was, we've said
Are you trying to drive people away?
sex sells. We've talked about
Sex
this.
sells.
Numerous times.
Talked about this.
Tacky? Maybe. Sexy? Definitely.
But tactful.
Tasteful.
Tasteful. Okay.
You're sexy to at least one. We know that.
To at least
And that,
one.
and
Yes.
that counts. Counts for a lot.
That does count.
Means everything.
Or
Yeah.
at least 100. Because,
Absolutely.
She
Determines.
they might only be coming just for you.
She determines what kind of furniture I sleep
Say that
on at
again.
night. So that's,
Oh, okay.
that's a good thing.
Today's sipping beer because of the weight loss challenge. Miller Lite.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. It's a good
cool.
beer. It's a solid beer.
Yeah, it's a solid.
Hey, Miller, you guys know what time it is, Easy money for you. Easy money.
What was that one commercial? If you got the time, we got the beer.
Is
I
that
don't
Miller?
remember that.
Beer.
Was I born then?
Probably not.
No.
You were born.
That probably only aired in Cleveland.
Could be. Could be.
Only Cleveland.
It's very fair. It could.
So what's up, guys?
What's going on?
Anything new?
Week three in the digs.
I like
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like we've been there a lot longer.
It
It does
does.
feel that way.
It's coming natural.
I'm telling you. So when I go on to watch our show online, because I'm a narcissist like that.
Yeah.
There's a complete difference between just even the clips of each of the episode, seeing us all huddled together like we're, like it's 4 degrees outside and the heat just went out, and we're all trying to.
There's something to be said for togetherness that we had. It was cute. It was cute.
Yeah.
So when you watch them, do you
Shirt on or
force your
shirt off?
family to watch? Are there guns involved?
There are no guns involved.
Okay.
Force is a strong word.
Do you imply gently?
You know what's
Yeah.
what's crazy is I believe his wife actually has watched every episode. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know that your wife has. I know my wife hasn't.
Yeah.
So it's
Every
funny-
episode? No, she hasn't watched every episode.
It's funny that we're the ones, but I think his wife she shares every week. My wife doesn't. I'm just saying.
So my wife watches, but only because I'm watching. I do go back. I watch the show. I critique it,
your
see
shirt
what I
on
could have
or
done.
shirt off?
I usually go shirt off.
Yeah.
Or
While you're watching it,
while I'm watching.
wait till you see this week's intro. You're
Ooh.
definitely gonna want your shirt off in the beginning of that thing.
Come on now.
Choking
We should
my
bring up a
Jameson.
poll. Does everybody think Mark has like the silver dollar nipples or chocolate chips?
Oh man,
I'm thinking.
Well, I'm from Jersey. Pepperoni pizza pie. You guys.
Yes, too far already.
silver dollar. I'm going silver dollar.
Silver dollar?
I'm going silver dollar.
I'm choking on my Jameson. So let's talk about the weight loss challenge a little bit.
Yeah.
How's everybody going? How's it going?
I'll let you start, big guy.
Not good. I'm just gonna lean right into this. Not good at all.
Yeah, I'm going silver dollar.
I've gained a pound back. The scale this morning wanted to say 3 pounds back, but I had sweatpants on, I had a t-shirt on, I might have had shoes on. I think I was carrying one of the kids. I'm not sure.
So then you pulled a Phil in the hotel in Cleveland, just went full Monty and got on there.
You keep bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic. At this point, it's classic.
What's going on?
I did a set of 10 squats right then and there to see if it made a difference, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so how about you, Delane?
If anyone's like me, like I literally strip down sometimes. Maybe just boxers, but sometimes I'm like, oh, my phone's in my pocket. That's adding weight. Let me take that out.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I'm butt naked.
Okay.
So, you know,
There you go.
and it works out. I think honestly, I probably lost a lot of weight. Probably in the last. Yeah, it's crazy. You want to know what I've been doing?
I
thought you got on the scale.
I mean,
No, because I know there's a difference. I
okay,
know
so
there's
get
a
on the
difference.
scale buck naked this week and tell us what you weigh.
Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta. We need.
You want to know?
I'm
I'm gonna just shamelessly plug
hey,
this.
hey,
I've been eating.
We want real stats.
Real stats.
Real stats.
Damn,
we are not the fake stat show.
Hey, Jared, we got you with the real stats on the weight.
Fake stats have no place here.
That's
You
true.
should know your own stats, if any.
I don't know, but like I said, I'm going to shamelessly plug. I've been eating a lot of grilled chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A lately, and I'm trying to stay on that.
Regular or spicy?
Regular.
I don't really like them.
regular.
Grilled ones.
I like the spicy a lot.
I like the.
The Popeyes ones?
No, I've never had. Have you?
No.
No.
No, that was
Yeah, don't do that.
that was a dark that was a dark shot at a shameless plug. That was terrible on
He
my
did.
behalf.
He-
Hey,
Don't-
listen,
don't do
if
that.
Popeye brings some cash, they can sponsor the heck out of this show.
Hey.
All right, listen,
Hey,
we will take any
Have
sponsor.
you seen how they pack up their? They like if you order catering,
No.
they'll give you like fruit punch. It's in like a
First
bag.
of all, I didn't know that they
It's in a bag.
Catered.
catering.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So that's
Well, maybe it's just like mobile orders. I don't know, but you could buy like a gallon of
fruit punch.
Fruit punch?
in a bag though.
Oh, really?
It's real. It's a little.
juice in a bag.
Juice in a
You want to
bag.
know? It's that black lady.
sure
What's
that's
her
what they're
name? I
supposed
don't
to
know her
do?
name.
Excuse me.
It's the black lady. I
in
don't
the
know her
commercial.
name. Yeah,
In
the
the commercial.
commercial.
You know?
No, that's not her.
Love
She's
that chicken at
She's an
Popeyes.
she's an act.
Ooh, you
she's
killed
an
one more
actress.
time. One more time. Let me get that again.
That was good.
Harmonized.
Harmon.
Love that chicken for Popeyes.
Popeyes. You know what time it is.
I know what harmonizing is.
No.
Oh, I'll go
but-
deep. You want me to go deep?
No, that sounds
All right,
horrible.
let's hit it
but
because I sat out that one.
that sounds
I'll go
horrible.
high.
You can go high.
high?
I'll go high.
I'll go
Low.
I'll go low.
Low. There it is.
that chicken
Alrighty.
at Popeyes.
3, 2, 1.
Love that chicken at Popeyes. That's not good.
Almost. We killed it, guys.
Dude, we're getting a phone call this week.
For Popeyes.
You know, this is appropriate because when we lose the weight loss challenge because of you guys, I'm telling you,
I'm down.
We're going to be singing that song, and it's not going to be funny in our muscle
She's getting
shirts.
hot over there,
Yeah,
guys.
she liked it a lot. It's that spicy chicken.
I'm down 2 pounds. So, yep.
There you go.
43 and a half.
Yeah.
I'll put the half in there.
Is that
Just
real
one-
stats?
Yeah, that's real stats.
So I killed it this week. I'm actually down 4 pounds since Monday.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
So we got a new Peloton.
yeah.
Ooh.
We've been doing it every other day, my wife and I. That sounded.
Do you like it?
It's wealth.
I wish you wouldn't have said
Hey,
that.
it's long.
My wife is like on my case to get a Peloton.
Oh, no,
It
it's
looks like
fantastic.
now,
It's tough.
You just signed.
Do you
sealed,
watch the
delivered that
people
to my
on there?
door.
Are you keeping up with them? Is it live?
No, yeah, you should get it, Mark.
It can be.
It can
live,
be. I thought it
or
was.
It can be, but like my favorite trainer, right? So you could pick your trainer. So I like Tundra. Tundra's great.
What
'cause
does she look
Yeah,
like?
what she? Yeah,
She's
that's a great
really
question.
honestly looks like a former athlete, a tall like either volleyball, basketball, African American woman, but
Interesting.
she tells you during her training that she actually was almost 300 pounds, lost it all because of Peloton, and now she's a trainer. She's great. So then I mix it up, and I went to, and it, so you start, there's advanced, beginners, intermediate.
Where are you at?
So I started at beginning because I know I didn't want to do too much and then quit. So first 4 days, great, beginner. And then I said, well, I'm going to do a beginner, but they're like a 30 or 40 minute beginner class. So I did it.
Killed you.
Well, I didn't realize it said beginner advanced class.
They got you.
And so 30 minute in, he's asked me to get off the seat and pedal hard, and I'm doing weights, and I'm like,
This isn't it.
I cried uncle.
I'm curious about that. Do you scream obscenities at these guys or no? I'm always curious,
No.
especially the new beginners.
No,
when they,
especially Tundra. She's uplifting.
I'm gonna-
inspirational.
Side
Do you
note.
like it better than Insanity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note,
Tundra
I knew
sounds
she was black
Icelandic.
because her name was Tundra. I
Well,
already
so
knew.
she
Oh, really?
actually says you
Yeah, I
pronounce
already
it
knew.
She sounds-
Looney Tune. Duh. That's how she.
Tunda.
Tundra.
Is it Tunda or Tundra?
oh, Tunda is different. Tundra
Bro,
sounds
straight
like
out of
she's
Black Panther.
like a
Tunda, I
Viking.
believe.
Sounds like
Whatever.
Tundra.
Yeah, it sounds like a Viking, like princess warrior.
So I got her right here. I'm going to play a little bit.
That arm means a lot.
Tunda, then.
This is interesting.
Hey, shout out to Tunda.
I don't think I'm...
for helping us.
Right there
Let me see.
she
Where's
is.
she? Okay. There's no way she was almost 300 pounds.
Hey, I'll buy whatever she's selling.
Do you see any stretch marks?
Yeah. That's
the
how
telltale
she got
sign.
you.
Does she have stretch marks?
I mean, she's fully clothed.
So, what do you think Mark should get a Peloton? What do you think?
Yeah, so the only thing is that they're expensive. There's no way around it.
You got to have a certain
I mean, think about all the things that it
lifestyle
does.
to have a
Yeah,
Peloton.
I mean, like in my West Wing, we had a couple rooms with nothing.
Wow.
Do you let the help use it, or
I mean, we're not real partial. I mean, we try to we keep our Peloton to ourselves.
Especially-
What's in the West Wing? It's forbidden. I'm sorry. I had to. I'm so sorry.
So, anyways, I feel pretty good now. I can feel a slip coming tonight. I can feel some Tostinos
Some temptations,
coming. Yeah, no, it's kind of like I can.
you got one queued up on deck?
Even mentioning it, my mouth watered.
Is there one at the house? You got one at the house?
No.
I see, that's good.
Way home.
Oh, you're gonna if
Wow.
you stop.
You've been doing good so far.
I think that's why he
You've been
disappeared
doing
in the
good.
house. I thought I heard him faintly say, "Hey Chase, throw on some Tostinos for me. This show's going to go great."
Yeah. So, anyways, and Gabby, I think you said that you lost some weight. Would have her come?
We don't have her
Somebody give us money so we can get a mic and a bigger board so you can hear me be really annoying.
I like that.
Anyway, Rocky's had half a sip of Jameson and he's feeling some Totinos coming on tonight.
That's an issue.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Anyway, I lost 3 pounds. Granted, from my initial start weight.
Okay. Oh, because you went up. Yeah, I did that too.
I've been fluctuating, and honestly, I'm trying to figure out what works for me. What's
Well, we got
Peloton.
time.
other than
Peloton.
starving myself and working out every day. But I've been doing this thing where every hour, because I work from home, I literally lay in bed, watch Gilmore Girls. Shout out anybody watch Gilmore Girls on the show. I'll buy you a drink. But
Yeah,
that's all I do while I work all day. And I just, I'm so stagnant that I need to move. So I've started doing jumping jacks, 100 jumping jacks every hour on the hour. And I think it's working.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anything's better than nothing.
Keep me active.
So if you support our show, Gabby will videotape that and
buy your drink if you watch Gilmore Girls. Hey,
Unfortunately
think
for
about
you,
that.
is I think you owe 137 subscribers drinks because
Yes.
we've actually targeted the Gilmore Girl
we have.
audience.
we have.
So
Well,
look what you've done.
so I don't know where we're at some point. We're going to start keeping score, but I'm kind of waiting for everybody to really get serious. I think Phil's gotten more serious.
Trying.
I'm trying to get more serious, but tonight could be a slip up. I drink so I can eat.
That's a good. Hey,
So, it's kind of like
smoking weed. I'm sorry.
It'll be legal soon. Don't worry.
I'm just saying. It's like I smoke so I can eat. It's almost that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not
right.
saying I do. I'm just saying.
I don't know, it
anyways,
sounded like an admission.
yeah,
it
you
did.
hit,
It
you're
did kind of
hinting
right.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Admission / confession.
Be you, man. Be
So,
you.
so why don't we get to the meat of our show and kind
okay.
of take us back to what we talked about last week. And so this is our way, way, way too early 2021 consensus top 10.
Yeah.
I think you can probably throw a few more ways in there.
Yeah.
even.
Well, and I mean, things are happening literally
As we speak.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the NFL used to have a defined offseason, and that's not true anymore.
Not anymore.
You're hearing rumors about, people going to different teams and all that. And then you see J.J. Watt got cut, just crazy things happening. So how we ended up with our top 5, which we covered last episode, is these were the 5 that at least 3 of us agreed on. And that's how they ended up in our top 5. And just a reminder, we've got CMC, Kamara, Delvin Cook, Devontae Adams, and then the 5th was the most contested, and it was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is talk about our next 5, and we're going to allow us to kind of debate. Some of these we didn't all agree on, but we decided on. So
And we'll
let's-
state our case.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first one.
And before you do that, I just want to say, if you guys, have different opinions,
Yeah.
leave
We're okay
something
with
in the
that.
comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Just so you know, whenever we upload something, we're planning on putting out some more content more frequently coming up in the next few weeks. So, yeah, follow and just a like on Instagram and TikTok, too. You can find us.
Yeah, user feedback helps, man. It really helps us determine what we want to talk about to deliver to you guys to kind of maybe give you a leg up in some of these drafts, you know.
Yeah, and we do, like, you know, our subscriptions are increasing, our Facebook likes and Instagram likes. We really appreciate that very much. We think we definitely entertain ourselves, which is something. For sure. And we appreciate your guys' support. So.
As evidenced by us starting our show 2 hours late every single week because we're too busy.
Guys is like a Cleveland vernacular? Guys is?
We pluralize.
Well, time out. He's talking?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that he's always saying
it's
guys.
Okay.
It's not the guys.
You know I plural, like I say cooks all the time.
That's true. So you guys is.
Yeah.
You guys is.
Mark, did you have somebody you wanted to shout out, by the way?
Yeah, you know what? There's a few people that I want to give some shout outs to. You know, as we're trying to navigate this crazy world of podcasting and trying to break in, well, I'm trying to, you know, get you guys to, you know, we're going to pick up our volume with fantasy football playing, as well as, you know, trying to really get out in the community. With that being said, I want to give a shout out to the guys at RT Sports. Again, that fantasy site is fantastic. If you love fantasy football, you like to be involved in a lot of leagues, and it's very easily manageable, even for the person that doesn't have a whole lot of time. Unless you get into a lot of managed leagues, and then Wednesday night waiver wire, you know, you're not going to be your wife's best friend. But if you're single, it's fantastic. I'm just going to throw that out there. So over at RT Sports, one of the admins, Chris Topher, he goes by CTF. You know, we've been talking back and forth, and potentially has some opportunity for us to do some live podcasting on some drafts here coming up in the next few weeks.
Sounds good.
Which would be fantastic. I mean, I think, you know, we'll work out the logistics, but I think it would be a really good time.
So is there a chance for like our group to pick?
Absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about maybe getting you know, we'll get a group name. That way, you know, it's legit and it's just one of us drafting or the team collectively drafting for one draft, and not all four of us sitting here going off of one another's boards of who we're going to take next. Also on the RT Sports board, I got talking to the number 5th ranked player on RT Sports, Mr. Foosball himself, Brad Petrie. Who then got me in contact with Farrell Elliott, who is a gentleman who he does like event coordination for the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. Oh, and he was nice enough to give me a call yesterday. So I fielded a half an hour. I was on the phone with him for about half an hour. Kind of gave me the ins and outs of what goes on there. They have a huge draft weekend at the end of August. And I'm hoping that we get to make it up there for, and we might have some live podcasting opportunities from some of these live venues too. And you know, who knows from there? Maybe doing some stuff in Vegas, and you know, whatever comes. I'm ready for it. I think we have a good time. I think we like doing this, and
well, I'm always up for a trip to Vegas. So
have you been to Vegas before?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they called him, Phil Vegas.
Oh, did they really?
I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean.
You feel like
it's not like
it's dark.
Anything.
It's like a dark city, right? Like it feels sinful a little bit.
If I guess,
yeah, you don't feel that.
No.
I mean, if you're looking for that,
have you ever been completely naked in a bathroom
every night?
Yeah, I would love to go to Vegas with you guys. I don't know if my wife would be as okay with that. It's stoked.
Hey, man, listen.
Hey, my wife wouldn't mind. It seems like a bunch of accountability over here. So
no accountability.
No, okay, heard that. Never mind.
Bad accountability.
I probably won't be going to Vegas.
I'm a faithful man with a family, Rocky. I don't know what you're insinuating, and I don't like it.
I could see one of us waking up in a gutter. Is all I'm saying.
As you hold a drink.
I didn't say it wouldn't be me. I didn't say it wouldn't be me. I'm just saying I could see.
I'm just saying if you're in a court of law, that alibi is not airtight.
No,
I would not. I would not hold everybody in this room accountable for what goes on there.
Yeah. I'm not saying I would never cheat on my wife. I'm sure you guys wouldn't either.
No,
I would do incredibly stupid things when dared.
Well, like eat?
At like 2 or 3.
I'm just going to eat a lot.
I dare you to shovel 32 Tostinos.
There you go to buffet.
Done. Challenge accepted.
Most trouble you're going to get in is the buffet.
Yeah.
They got some of the best buffets in the country, by the way.
You know what? I'm not talking to you.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been?
I've never been.
No, never.
And because of the darkness that you speak of.
Okay, I have to tell you, I went to Vegas my first time, and I went for free, right? Got put up on a nice hotel, and I was checking out the, what is that? Monster truck, like their version of the Super Bowl.
The Monster
Jam.
Yeah. But it was like the end of the year, like the best of the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Vegas. I could see Vegas. I was watching monster trucks for like 12 hours a day. It was
Really?
not
Did
as
you
fun.
like it?
No.
Mark, you go to I was gonna ask you too. I seen that you go to those things.
Well, no, we've been
Because
to.
Josh is gonna go. The question I had is like, when you buy the Groupon, does it come with the Mountain Dew and the Slim Jims?
Oh my gosh.
No, but it
It's
does
actually-
come with a cowboy hat and at least one pair of boots.
Well, listen, make sure when we go, we stay at the Delano Hotel.
It's
I think that
Monster
is,
Energy
I think that's
drinks
appropriate.
and
Would you say?
Is there one?
Marlboro
There is
Reds.
100% a Delano Hotel in Las Vegas.
Is it any good? or-
Did they
I mean-
pronounce it Delano?
Yeah, and it's not Delano. And the
I think they would probably
but you would.
pronounce it Delano.
Is it a 2-star, 4-star?
No, it's the
5-star?
top. It's top.
Really?
You think a person with a name like me would be low? Come on now.
Maybe.
I've never
No,
heard
not
of it.
at
That's
all.
all I'm saying. I've
Well,
never
hey,
heard of it.
Do some research.
Okay, we'll
you'll
do some
see it. Hey, I just want to say thank you for RT Sports and
Yeah. No, we're excited about
for
this.
sure about the plugs and the information and letting us just connect with you guys to help build our brand and at the same time in turn help you guys out as well. So we do want to give you big thanks for that. We are so grateful for the opportunity just to have you guys alongside us.
Yeah, you can tell
help it out.
Delano's excited, but we're looking forward to it.
Bro, why you gotta? Anyway, let's get to these
I think
picks.
I felt like you needed help.
You know what's coming up here is for
So you
me
felt
what's
like
going to
you
be the
just-
most fun thing.
excited.
when
I'm trying to help you out.
This is going to be us during the live draft.
Okay.
We're going to argue every pick that we almost time out. I think every
Yeah.
round. So
it was very
exciting
hard.
yet nervous.
It was very hard because I think, had something like 15 potential
Yes.
picks for the last 5.
I think it was 19.
19. It was
Yeah.
19. Yeah.
So, first one that we consensus kind of came in with was Tyreek Hill. I know you and I
You and I,
were a
definitely.
lot more high on him.
100.
Mark, you I think were one of the centers. You agreed that he should be there,
Not where he is,
but in the top 10.
yeah. I mean, I could be persuaded, and just to remind everybody, like way too early. It is way too
way
It's
early.
way too early.
So a lot of the, me personally, a lot of my projections are based on just gut, what I think might happen. There's really nothing concrete at this time of year. So
Yep, it could.
that being
change.
said, yeah, I could be talking to Hill. Well, I wouldn't have him at 6.
And I mean, that's the beauty of fantasy football. Like you go off of your gut. You can read stats all day long. You can try to, assimilate your team roster according to ADP. But ultimately, man, it's your gut that might end up winning you one of those championship prizes.
Or your gut that you're trying to lose in this Harry style weight loss challenge.
Or the
Either-
gut can make you eat the Tino's. It can make you
It does a lot of things.
Listen, have you
go
guys
to
ever,
move on to Hot Pockets.
you guys are acting like you haven't had Tostinos and they're not the best thing.
Well,
around.
are we? I love Totinos.
Okay.
No, nobody said that.
Wait, is
can't
there
get
an
down with
S
them
in
like
there?
that.
Is it Totinos or Tostinos?
Tostinos.
I go
It's-
between them because I like
It's
to.
not Tostinos. It's Totinos.
So I
It's
like
Totinos?
every
Yeah, he
single-
just adds the S.
Oh, my bad.
But this time he did it mid-word.
I could have sworn
which
I
is
seen the
crazy.
yes.
It's very
He's evolving.
fluid.
I try to make everything sound Italian.
Tostinos.
Tostino sounds a lot more Italian. Than
Yes.
Totino. Totino could be. Is it Latin? Is it Italian? We don't know. Tostinos definitely.
It's perfeccione.
Tostino.
So
Tostinos.
argue why or talk about why you didn't necessarily agree with Hill.
Okay. So could you put Tyreek Hill in your top 10?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's, no question. But we challenged ourselves, right? We're trying to find some guys that fit in there. For me, it is another guy that made our board. I would just have him up a little bit higher, and that's JTT. I think, especially now, my prediction for JTT that high was in hopes of them bringing in a quality quarterback.
And what happened, Mark?
And this morning, man, they went. I mean, it was just like
How
it was
angry,
like it was meant to
how
be.
angry are you?
Like seething. Look at him.
You want to know why
Almost.
I'm angry? Because the last thing I read was that Chicago was the front runner.
Yeah.
And then I go and I read a total contradiction that says that Chicago didn't even offer anything.
Well, and the
And I
crazy
mean-
thing is they didn't pay much.
They got him dirt cheap.
So that tells me the Bears
Didn't.
are set on Trubisky one more year.
You know what? What is it for, though? I mean, to save face? Because Pace goes out there and he sells the farm to move up a single draft slot and takes Trubisky.
There's a lot of pride there.
What's the Bears cap situation?
I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to quote me. I don't think it's huge because I think that's factoring into maybe Allen Robinson walking, and they don't want that to happen. But
are they maybe in play for Watt at this point?
But again, I did read that. But I mean, look what happened with Wentz.
Well, I'm just saying that maybe how. So did Indy? Did they take the whole salary? Are they picking up the whole salary?
No, I think Philly's got some dead money there. I think they got like 30-some million in dead money too.
Over the rest of the contract or just next year?
I would have to imagine it's over the whole contract because I don't think Wentz is making $30 million a year.
But I mean,
I think he
is.
Is he?
I
he
believe
was,
so. I'm gonna have to look that up. But
I mean,
Yeah, we don't want fake stats.
Exactly. To your point, though, this looks even better now for JTT.
Well, it does, and I mean, so,
JTT. You ever watch Goldbergs?
I actually do. Funny enough, my wife loves that show, and that show
JTV.
is wow.
I've heard great things about that show. I actually want to check.
It's pretty
that
good.
out.
It's pretty good. It's
Is it
funny,
good?
hilarious.
It's the 80s.
Great. It's great stuff.
Well, I like him because he's from the one with Larry David,
Squirrel.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
There it is. Yeah, we are chasing squirrels now. So I think JTT proved last year that he can catch the ball. He ended up with, let me see. Let me just refer to my real stats here for a quick second.
so yeah, Wentz will count.
36 to 39. So he proved that he can catch the ball. Go ahead.
So his contract originally was 4 year, $128 million. He's going to count 25.4 against the cap this season. They're going to owe him a roster bonus next month, and it'll count against the 2022 salary, plus an additional 7. So yeah, I mean, they got him dirt cheap, but they're going to be paying for him. But they paid Brissett $20 million last year. I mean, well, they did pay him last year, right?
They paid him last, but 2 years ago is when he signed, right?
Yeah. So they're going to save. They're going to save money next year. May look a little different the year after. I mean, it was a good trade.
But how does this look for JTT though?
So yeah, because I want to save kind of like this discussion a little bit about
That's
all
true.
the
We are
changes
gonna
to
talk
the
about that
end.
later.
Squirrels.
But so talk about why you think JTT.
So again, he proved last year that not coming out of school was he couldn't catch the ball. He caught 36 of 39 targets. Hines was there strictly as their third down back. I think JTT proved to be so dynamic, especially towards the end of the season,
for sure,
running the ball,
for sure,
that he was that complete 3-down back player. And bringing Wentz in, having a great core of, they have a couple younger receivers. They have Pittman there. T.Y. Hilton's obviously a little bit long in the tooth.
Well, and they also have Paris Campbell, who set
Campbell.
every record at Ohio State, but got injured
Yeah.
and was out all year. But I think coming back, they're going to have a pretty solid receiving core.
And I hope so, because I really do like Paris, and I think he could be a great contributor on that offense. And going forward, putting Wentz in there, and let's not discredit that line. I think that's the best offensive line in football.
It's definitely in the top 3 or 4.
It's a stone wall. I mean,
hopefully it'll allow Wentz to complete an actual season.
Hopefully,
whether it's getting injured or being
he's a big
benched.
guy to be that injury prone too.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to think about the last 2 seasons. He was sacked 87 times in 2 seasons, 50 last season. Before that, he was one of the better quarterbacks in football. One of the 2017, he led the league in quarterback rating. He was close to the top in completion percentage in a couple of those years, and his TD to interception ratio was outstanding. His 2 outliers were his rookie season, so breaking in, you expect that from rookie quarterbacks, and then last year was just garbage because, last year he was running for his life. But compare that to what happened to Stafford. Last year, Stafford's lines looked like garbage.
Yeah.
He was also injured, and then he goes out to LA, and that's their savior now.
So JTT was on a lot of our boards. Like we really heavily discussed him as a possible top. He was a top 10, but I get what you're saying. Like he could have been anywhere up there, you know. So you're saying you would have replaced JTT would have been in your number 6 spot or higher than what he is in ours.
Yeah, just a little bit higher than 8 is where I would have, and that's I wanted to throw that out there. That I would just put him up a little bit higher.
So let's move up to the next one because you're feeling very argumentative. So the next one we consensusly reached was Gibson,
yeah.
right? And there was a lot of discussion about other running backs, potential running backs that have been good in the past or might be good next year. But talk about why Gibson is somebody that you did not agree with.
All right, now again, as we've mentioned, way too early, right? I think,
And we're also, like you said, I just want to drive the point home. We challenged ourselves to kind of take some guys out of this top 10 and put some guys in.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a little bit of an exercise as well.
Yeah.
right. And I think that Gibson is a full tool dynamic player. Don't get me wrong. But they still do have
Gibson's a tool is what I heard.
That's all I heard.
Gibson.
but they still do have J.D. McKissick there, who they involve very heavily in the passing game. He's taking a lot of targets away from Gibson. And Gibson's primarily just their first and second down, pounding back, which I think they could utilize him a little bit more. The argument that I'm going to make here is at some point you have to get Travis Kelce into the first round.
Yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit last week. The reason is the drop off, right?
Well, would it be drop off or the immediate, you can always count on those points that he's going to give because of.
Right, but that's just
As a tight end.
So then
So
there's
the next
there's
tight
a
end.
plummet after.
He's
Yeah, of
saying from
course.
Kelce
No,
to the
no,
next
for
tight
sure,
end,
for
right?
sure.
Well, I mean,
that's not
last year-
terrible because
yeah.
Waller was close. Waller was. Let me just refer to the notes here. Waller was 278 to Kelsey's 312, which isn't.
Yeah, but I owned Waller, and the problem with Waller is that he had a
Couple-
few games that were phenomenal,
Yeah,
right.
and many games where he didn't get you hardly anything.
Well, the end of the season, we have him 10 at the end of the season, top 10. He's number 10.
Yeah,
I want to tell you this year, I've done like 13 drafts already, but so Waller's going in the second round for that reason, because then the drop off after that, the third highest scoring tight end is 176. So you're talking a full 100 points below the second ranked tight end last year.
So your argument is the here's a spot you can differentiate yourself from anybody else because if you've got Kelce,
Yes.
Yeah.
you're going to beat
That
the
much
tight
ahead.
end spot every week.
Yeah.
probably.
Every week you're gonna win the tight end battle, and then I think this year especially with a lot of guys coming off of injury, and one of the guys that we're going to talk about is Barkley. A lot of people thought that maybe he shouldn't still be in the first round, so I think you can get value coming back, especially picking at the 7 spot. So you're looking at coming back in your 14 there, right? So 14, I think you're going to get great value, and again in the third round, I think you can probably go running back again. Because receiver, once you get in those 4th and 5th rounds, I think there's some really good receivers there you can still grab. So to have Kelce there, I myself, when I've been faced with this, between Kelce and Derrick Henry, believe it or not, because Derrick Henry's not targeted in the passing game. He's a pounder. How long can he pound for? He's getting a ton of carries, and their points are very similar. So Kelce had 318, and Henry had 333, but you can come back behind Henry, and the drop off
Isn't as steep.
is bad, but it's not as steep.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So next we had JTT, which was in our 8th spot. Now you've argued for moving him up, but you would argue that maybe there's somebody who should be there instead.
Yeah, and the Wentz thing does change things a little bit, but I mean, like you said, we're challenging ourselves a little bit, and there's only so many guys you could get in here. And I would argue, if you're going to argue JTT, how do we leave out maybe one of the brightest rising stars last year in James Robinson?
Yep.
I mean, as far as the situation goes, you got a guy that both of the guys proved it last year. Now it's a little bit of a different situation for Robinson with a new coach coming in, new quarterback. Sunshine is probably going to be there, right? Unless something crazy happens. I do think they're going to want to establish the run with Meyer coming there, right? I mean, I would imagine that's what he's going to want to do, especially with a rookie quarterback as good as he might be.
People talk about how Urban is an offensive genius, but if you look at his teams at Ohio State, when they really won, it was their defense that was stellar. I think he's almost a better defensive coach than he is an offensive. I think he's going to stick to the basics. He's going to give Trevor a chance to kind of learn as he goes. but he's going to accent James Robinson.
And so I'll ask you, since you already argued JTT, when you stack them up with Robinson and take what they did last season coming into this season, where do you rank them just head to head?
So I think
It's close.
So it's close in our feelings.
Yeah.
If you look at stats.
And even skills wise.
It's hard to argue that you wouldn't immediately go James Robinson stronger
For the
than
number
JTT.
8 spot?
I think with James Robinson, there are just more variables at play, right? So you're going to have a brand new offense. You're going to have a brand new quarterback. It's going to, whether it's Lawrence or, the talk of possibly them shipping that number 1 overall pick to try and land Watson, which I think would actually help Robinson off the bat. Because with a rookie quarterback, you're not necessarily looking for him to grasp an offense and a brand new offense immediately. So you're probably going to be a little conservative throwing the ball, right? So then you're able to kind of key in on James Robinson. Yeah, 1 season. Do we know if he's for real? We don't know yet, right?
Well, and that's the other point, too. And like when you compare JTT and James Robinson, first of all, JTT had the strongest last 4 weeks of almost any running back. I think of any running back. The other thing is they picked him higher. They lose nothing if they cut James Robinson.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that's a concern of mine. He was amazing last year, but they don't have anything invested in him.
Right.
So
And he was 4th on the depth chart coming into preseason.
Yeah.
It was a trade to Fournette. It was
and they did make those
Armstead
moves,
COVID.
knowing that they thought they had something in Robinson, but still,
Yeah.
it's
So
another-
just to push back, I'd say Wentz coming in is comparable to having a new quarterback
yeah, for sure.
for Jacksonville. And you argued about Wentz before being, he was under pressure a lot. I watched Wentz a lot. I watched some of his tape. He was under pressure a lot. But he held the ball a lot too,
Under pressure.
to be fair. And he would hold the ball, and they didn't have the greatest wide receivers in the world either. So I get that point. But, he also tried to make plays that weren't there. So there's a little fault in his game. Can it be cleaned up with Frank Wright? Yeah, of course it can. Well, we just don't know yet. So I would kind of call that a wash. I mean, we've seen Wentz do it, but it's been a couple of years since he's been that
On top,
guy.
yeah.
And the way people are touting Lawrence, I would say coming into the season, maybe on even playing field.
Yeah.
But if we go back to last year, what would you say JTT's main advantage over Robinson would be? As a player on the field, as far as fantasy value.
Coming into this year?
Yeah. What aspect of his game is what I'm saying?
The end of his season last year is what would give me the hint to
But I
take him
think-
over James
And
Robinson.
he seems like he's
because-
a little bit better receiver.
because they finally started to utilize him correctly. James Robinson did a pretty decent job receiving.
Yeah.
I did watch a couple games with James Robinson towards the end where he had a couple of drops, but I don't really fault him for those. They were pretty terrible passes, but I just think that JTT is going to be more involved in an offense that has better weapons. So it's going to open the field up for him a little bit more than James Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also talking about, so the other variables, DJ Shark might not be there, right? They have Chenault, who they've openly said, we got to get the ball in this guy's hands. Whether it's, they move him around the formation, they throw him in the backfield, they try to get him on screens, they try to hit him deep. So there's some targets going away from James Robinson as well, paired with potentially a rookie quarterback.
So you don't think that could happen with a Wentz, who we'll say is probably a better quarterback than Rivers? Maybe. I don't know. You don't think he'll
It
spread the
depends.
ball?
I
That's what I'm
wouldn't go
saying.
that
It's kind
far.
of
Yeah, jury's
just
out.
to argue that way. That's not really my point, but I just say for Robinson, seen him do it all year. He played one less game, or was at least active for one less game than JTT. He
turned
put
it
up
on.
14 more receptions, 20 more targets.
I'm going to fact check you here.
You can do what you want. And 2 more receiving touchdowns. And so me, without looking at those numbers, I'm thinking the same thing, JTT in the passing game. And it was a little muddy for JTT because injuries, stuff happened there. Naheem Hines, is he going to factor in?
Well, you highlighted the point though. You said that it was the James Robinson show all year long. JTT wasn't.
Yeah.
JTT was used pretty seldomly in the very good.
but that's-
in the
that
very
says something,
start.
though, too.
Yeah, but that's
As well.
promise
Well,
too
he's
because
he's a rookie coming in.
but
Jacksonville had their back up against the wall. They had nobody.
yeah, but
fair.
he turned it up later in the season, which that's why he's in the position.
You know,
that
that,
he's
and
in.
that's why they went out and grabbed him.
That's why he's
We're
in the
all
position
assuming,
he's
so
in.
just going on assumptions here. I mean, if I were looking at the two, you could take JTT's finish of the season and take it as a positive. Obviously,
That's it.
You
Yeah,
could
that's
take it as
exact-
a negative.
I think
that
that's
he
the
didn't
only
do
way
it
to
all
look
year.
at it.
Yeah,
Right.
I could take James Robinson and say he had all year to do it. I could also say he played all year, he carried the load all year, and he proved himself to be able to take the workload.
I think you
and
take
outpace
Robinson.
him with one less game. Outpace him on targets. The only thing that he was outpacing was touchdowns.
Yeah,
And touchdowns, as we know in fantasy, is a stat that regresses year. You can't count on
Those-
a high amount.
Well,
of
we've
touchdowns.
talked about
Right.
that with Devontae Adams. I'd like to believe he's going to have 18 touchdowns next
Right.
year.
Right.
Right.
Likely he's not.
Right.
I think if you go Robinson, you choose Robinson here because his floor is really attractive.
Now, is Hines still in Indy? Before I'm just wanting to know.
I
Yes.
think he's a free agent though.
Yeah.
He's here.
He
he's there
is
now.
still now, but yeah, I think he is a free agent.
Yeah.
We'll check that real quick.
But again, we talked about it. A lot of fantasy football is gut too, right?
Yeah.
So my gut's telling me that you don't go out and you get a guy like JTT, bring in as a rookie. If you don't have your back up against the wall, they kind of break these rookie running backs in a little bit. We saw the same thing with DeAndre Swift. I mean, because we saw,
Yeah, that's true.
we saw Peterson in the beginning of the year, and Peterson was running well when he had fresh legs for the first couple of weeks, and then you knew it was going to be Swift time.
Well, and Switch
Yeah,
is a good argument because he was another one that we had
Yes,
as
it
part of
was.
our 19.
Me, I think you and I were going
Yeah.
for that. But I wouldn't say with JTT, end of the season, he's showing promise. You put someone, like you're saying, they have a great line. You put someone like Wentz in there. It's only going to give him exactly what you're saying,
But-
the opportunity to show exactly what he can do. Look what he's done at the end of this. And that's just the end of the season.
And
Rookie
Phil-
coming in.
Yeah, and Phil's got a great argument for it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, James Robinson is super talented, and I mean, you could, and to make Phil's point, you could make the argument that Robinson's going to see even more touches next year because you're going to have a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
Because you're not going to have as
gonna rely
many
on him.
playmakers potentially on the outside, so they're going to rely on him.
Or is that going to
But-
hurt them though? Because you have a rookie quarterback coming in and you know that this is going to possibly be the potential target,
Right.
double team, get him out of the way.
Well, and
then
that's
what
why,
happens?
like, our subscribers, you need to keep watching because as we get closer to understanding who they draft, who they sign in free agency, once they get in camps, we're going to keep updating these.
Yeah.
And we could, honestly, Robinson could jet up or jet
Right.
down.
Absolutely.
depending on-
I mean,
Yep.
honestly, at this point, cover your eyes and throw a dart. You can argue a lot
We're
of these
early.
guys in the same.
Well, while
talk
we're
about
on
throwing a dart.
and rookies,
Yeah.
we had number 9. We had Justin Jefferson,
Right.
for
Yeah.
our number 9 slot.
And I think you're
I
not
didn't.
against Jefferson.
Right? No,
But
He's-
you thought there might be another
oh, for
receiver
sure.
that
Now,
should be there.
don't take anything away from Justin Jefferson for being a rookie and the stats that he pulled. If we're
was
looking at
scary.
it,
It
it's
was scary.
it's nice. It's and like we said earlier, it's funny because who I would put in that or argue in that position would be Stephon Diggs in the number 9 spot, and how coincidentally, it's like he replaced him.
Yeah.
All right, and we mentioned it. I'd never take a pretender for the real deal.
Right.
And
Well, and I've kind of come a little bit over to your side because now all of a sudden we're hearing rumors that Cousins may not even be in Minnesota.
yeah, wow.
So
We don't know what
we
that's
don't
going to
know.
look like for these players
Right.
coming in.
Yeah, and I had Diggs in my top 10 too.
You did.
Yeah.
I didn't have Jefferson in my top 10.
Well,
I had
and
them
then-
both actually.
Yeah, and I'm very high in
Mm.
Jefferson. I think on the positive side, there's a good chance Thielen won't be there next year.
That's true. That's true too.
So that looks pretty good.
For him.
which again could play either way, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
if
don't
you don't
know.
have a playmaker on the other side.
Yes.
I mean, when you had Juju in Pittsburgh before Antonio Brown left, everybody thought Juju was going to be a starter next year, and you found out he couldn't play through double coverage.
But let me just throw out a stat here on Justin Jefferson, and I did not personally put him in my top 10. He is in my top 5 receivers that I'm targeting. I just didn't put him inside.
Yeah, you
my
just
top 10
go
overall.
heavy running backs over receivers in your top 10. I think.
I have been only because I've been bitten by being a wide receiver whore in the past bug so many times.
Yeah.
Last
Well,
year-
and honestly, like you stated before, look at our running backs. I mean,
Not
two
many.
of them got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
You just don't
Well,
know.
to the point you were saying before, the only reason I had a little bit more wide receiver representation in my top 10 this year is you're seeing a lot of there's a few running backs that are going to slip a little bit because of injury. That you may be able to strike and hit something in the third round. You may get a mix in. Now you're obviously doing more. You're already drafting, so it looks a little different for you. But as we get closer to season, things are going to change. But right now, there's a couple guys that you can see falling to the second where I might want to grab a guy like Diggs or grab a guy like Hill or grab a guy that probably not really, but Adams that I think
really
could be a
didn't do too
top
bad, but I
3,
understand.
top 5 wide receiver, and then circle back in the second and maybe grab Barkley and take a chance.
Yeah.
And then if you get Barkley back, close to what he is supposed to be, then you kind of struck gold.
So, and like you said, it looks a little different for me. Out of the drafts I've done, Barkley has not dropped past
Hey,
7.
we'll get there.
Well,
Let
talk
me
about the
give you-
stats that you had for Jefferson you're going to bring up, and then I want to hear your
So
point.
I do want to make an argument for Jefferson being one of the first wide receivers off of the board. His skill set is fantastic. I mean, look at what he did his rookie season, right?
Well, hey.
But here's his stat. His stat
You got
is
that too, don't you?
Well, I just want to, because I'm on them, I just want to give the stats.
Go ahead.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
A little,
No, you go.
little territorial here.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? We all know you
Listen,
had
guys.
6 and 7. I know a little about fantasy football.
Yeah,
No
let's hear it.
catfighting,
You know what I'm
right?
saying? Wow.
Let's hear it.
All
Okay,
right.
girls.
Well, looking at it, I'm sure you have the stats.
Nothing wrong with being a girl.
and they're not made up. You're spot on. His rookie season, 88 receptions. 1,400 yards,
Yeah.
and that's number 4. But if we look at it, it's really number 3. Because if we're taking Kelsey out of the mix, which is a tight end, and we're looking at solely wide receivers, he's actually ranked number 3. He's number 4 if you have Kelsey in, and that's 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. He averaged about 15.9 yards, and if we're looking at yards after catch, which I think matters,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it matters. He's 450, and I'm just giving you the stats right now based off of Justin Jefferson
So-
to compare him to the next guy.
Good
who I
job
wanna
with
put
stats.
there.
Let me piggyback off of this. 'Cause
Piggyback.
I'm
I got
going to go even a little bit deeper. I
got you.
Because where I was going to go is that Justin Jefferson is a playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
You said 1,400 yards. 1,400 yards on 88 receptions. The man he replaced, Stephon Diggs,
Yep.
in Buffalo,
We'll get there.
had 127.
Yeah, I get it.
For only 1,535.
Yes.
So
You're right.
40 more receptions almost.
It's
for
39.
Only,
We want to use real stats.
so I said almost.
Okay. Hey, we don't have
Almost.
Jared doesn't almost.
Only thing I would push
Real
back
stats.
on that.
Jared doesn't almost.
Only thing I would push back on that is obviously.
Well, I'm making a
He's-
case for very skillful player here.
No, I understand that, but only thing I would push back is that things may or may not be changing. So
Right.
if you have a different quarterback now, Cousins, for whatever he is, he's a slightly above average quarterback that can get
Serviceable.
hot, but he pushes the ball downfield.
Yeah.
So
He does,
the next
yeah.
guy going to push the ball downfield.
Well, Josh
Is-
Allen pushes the ball downfield too.
He does. But I'm arguing about what could affect Jefferson because even if Josh Allen, whatever, he was still productive. So if Cousins is not there, is he as productive? If Thielen's not pulling any coverage,
Yes.
is he as productive?
And the sophomore
Maybe
slump
he's
could be a
talented enough to
possibility.
be.
Yeah.
We
So
can
that's a
we can
big-
think
I'm
I'm
not
about
not, saying,
sophomore
that.
I'm not
slump.
saying he's not talented enough.
He might hit
No,
us.
I
He
love
might.
Jay. I had him in my top 10. I'm just saying if we're gonna,
Well, you're arguing me. I don't even have him in the top 10. I'm just
Oh,
trying
you
to make
don't-
I'm trying to make the case for you guys.
that's right.
Well, I can make the
but I'm
case.
just saying versus Diggs.
Let me make the case.
Right.
That's the only
Because
thing
I'm
that I
on
worry
number
about.
9. I'm a number 9.
All right, no, wait, hang on, real quick. Jefferson stat. This is a crazy stat as a rookie.
Let's hear it.
Jefferson was second only to Will Fuller in yards per reception. So Jefferson put up. I'm sorry, Will Fuller put up 16.6 yards per reception, and as we know, Fuller didn't play. The last
Right.
5 games. Jefferson 15.9
Yeah, he just
yards
said-
per reception.
I might know
you,
some.
Hey man, I got you. He said
did
that.
you really
said
just?
that.
Did he say 15.9?
Come on now.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
he
said
I
did.
might know a
Did he?
little something. I might know
that.
some.
Hey, man, I'm proud of you, man.
So-
a little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit.
I take that.
And that-
And that
yeah.
goes a long way for me.
Okay, you two enough. Talk about your stats because
So-
I'm like you. Like I look at the fact of Okay, I get that.
Yes.
Jefferson only had 80 whatever receptions.
88. Yeah.
88.
You mentioned how many did Diggs have?
He had 127.
And I don't see that slowing down.
No.
And
he's been in the league for a while.
Right. And
so,
this year he didn't break as many big, but it doesn't mean he's not capable
So
of
he
it.
had, I mean, on that, what you're talking about, he had about, 3 less. He had 12.1 average yards.
Right.
But he had a lot more receptions.
Right.
And that comes huge when we're talking fantasy football. If we're looking at it, he had 135 more yards than Justin.
And I think he's quicker than Justin.
I
Justin's
would say
quick.
so.
Justin is 4.43. That was his combine, his 40-yard dash, actual stats, certified.
Certified.
I
Stamp
think
it.
that Diggs is actually closer to like a 4.3.
So
Diggs was a big play receiver when he was playing with Cousins.
he
too.
was. So with all that being said, it is really, really close. We can look at so many different stats on it and see how close they are. But because
Your guy.
Stephon Diggs is in the league and he's been in the league a lot longer, he's a lot more consistent. We can count on him. 127 reception. That's a lot more. That's 39 more receptions than Justin Jefferson. On top
think
of
you
that,
make a good
135 more yards. That is Stephon Diggs being number one in receiving yards. And that is, if we're looking without Kelsey, Justin Jefferson is number 3.
So let's also
And you
factor.
have Hopkins in the middle of that. We're not talking about him, which we can argue him as well
Yeah,
in this
yes,
spot.
for sure.
We could definitely, but we're
So let's also factor in that Diggs is the man. That's who Josh Allen's looking for
Mm-hmm.
in Buffalo. Jefferson had Thielen ahead of him on the depth chart.
Yes.
So, I mean, you have that in play.
But we
too.
can also put
we
in
don't know
play.
if he can
That's
beat
what
him,
I'm saying.
man.
But here's the thing: we can also
Right.
put in play that Stephon Diggs right now, as far as I know, he's not going anywhere. Josh Allen, as of right now, he's not going anywhere. Thielen might be going somewhere. Cousins might be going somewhere.
Well, and I think you mentioned the sophomore slump is a really,
It's
really
huge.
good point
Oh.
because he would not be the first receiver to disappear in the second
No,
year.
no,
In fact,
not
I
at
think
all.
your guy, Allen Robinson, disappeared in the second year.
It
Well,
happens.
Allen Robinson also, he was injured.
Yeah. That's
He,
fair.
the
That's fair.
first game. He
But with that, I know we don't count touchdowns much. It's only one more. Stephon Diggs has one more touchdown than Justin Jefferson. But it is, as far as we're looking at yards after catch, which we want to also tap into, it's 18 more yards, 468 real stats.
And the other point is too, they're actually looking for Justin Jefferson a little bit further down the field than they are for Diggs too. So Justin Jefferson comes in at 11.2 yards per target, and Diggs is 9.5.
Yeah. So
real stats.
I'm going to move us on to the number 10
Let's
because I
do
think
it.
we've argued this.
I
And
might have to jump in this at some
Yeah.
point in time because it hurts me.
This was a tough one, and I'm
Real
going to tell you that I have nothing against Saquon Barkley. I actually do feel like healthy, he's one of the top 10 picks. What I dislike about him, I do hate he has a penchant to run side to side much more than he should.
North-south.
And it drives me crazy because a lot of times you take the 4 yards and you don't break the 80 yard, but
That
I'm
got
gonna
him
give that
injured
to him.
last year. That got him injured
That's
in
exactly
Chicago.
it. Right.
He
That's
tried to break
exactly it.
something out to the right, and he was.
Here's my
got punished for
concern, and you mentioned it.
Seemed
We
a little
look at-
happy about that. I don't
Yeah,
like
he
that.
did,
I don't
didn't
like
he?
That right there.
We look at I'm going to bring up an Ohio State running back who started the season, and we were wondering he was terrible. Trey Sermon, he was awful. In fact, people were talking about, should he even be their number one running back? Well, he was recovering from a pretty serious injury, and if you look at his last 4 games, he was a world beater, but his first 5 were not good. And this is my fear about Barkley. Do I think Barkley, if he's healthy 100%, is he a top 10 pick? Absolutely.
No doubt.
But he is injured. He got injured pretty seriously. And we think he's ahead of schedule. But I also am troubled by his 2019. What were his stats? You guys know?
Not off the top of my head.
I mean, they weren't as impressive as when I went back and looked, they were not as impressive as I thought they
Oh
were.
no, he had a down year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then
That was also Daniel
but to be
Jones'
fair-
first year,
But
right?
Jones was good. The offensive line is one of
Yeah.
those.
Like,
2019
yes.
was one of the worst, if not the
hold on.
worst.
And that's why
offensive
I
line in
really
the
don't
league.
want to touch on that because it doesn't give credit to him. It just gives credit to
you're exactly
it's
right.
not-
But it's not like that line is going to be drastically altered.
Well, they are
overnight.
better. They have
They're
been-
better.
They're getting
and
better.
and they're probably going to try to.
and they
get
have a
another
few
player.
rookies. They had a few rookies that year
But I just don't like, this is their franchise back. I think it's going to take him 3 or 4 games to get back to playing level.
For sure.
And to me, if he's going to be out 3 or 4 games, I think there's better running backs that you could actually pick. And I'm going to mention one. And
That's
was
a
kind
fair
of torn.
point.
You know, I was kind of torn between a couple.
Well, don't go outside of, because Goldman, we can definitely talk on that.
I love
but
Goldman.
we'll
To
leave
piggyback
that.
on what you were saying before you get into your next point, I love Barkley, big Giants fan, everybody knows. But I agree with you. And last season, from around the midway point, and this is a little loose stats here, I think the back half of the season were the 5th or 6th rushing team in the league.
Yep.
So that line did play better. They inserted a couple of the rookies.
They did.
So I think the line will be solid coming into the year.
But I think
let's get that out of the way.
by Gallman, though, too.
But yeah, that's my point. So it's a good coaching staff, and I think they're going to try to take care of Barkley coming back from the injury. I don't think he'll be able to play. I don't think he's going to be 100% coming into the season.
Right.
He may be 100% cleared, but he's not going to be
Still a
game
mental
speed
hurdle.
ready to
There's a mental hurdle, for sure.
And I think they trust Gallman as well.
Well,
and I don't
Gallman ran like a monster.
He did.
Like,
he ran well.
Really
And
did.
straight
He's
ahead.
a nice north-south back. He's not a flashy guy, but they can rely on him. And I don't think they're going to push Barkley when they know they were rushing that well in the back half of the season. I don't rule out the possibility of them drafting it back late or signing a guy in free agency. And, so it's not like you come into the season like CMC's the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Barkley's going to be coming back off of ACL. So maybe the back half of the season, maybe he's a guy you snag in late in the second round and you bite the bullet and he helps you win late.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So I can see that.
Stash him.
But
Well, and
first
here's
round,
my-
I just don't.
Here's my
see
argument,
it.
too.
I mean, and it's a great
The value
It's
is not there.
it's a
It's a
great
value.
case.
It's a value.
But it could go the other way. I mean,
Could.
look at and this is a freak of nature in my opinion. You look at Adrian Peterson coming back from an injury like that.
Well, he
and
had
this
like 3.
He looked like you wouldn't have thought he had an injury.
That's a good point. I mean, Adrian Peterson's first game back from ACL, I think
And
he
guess-
broke
and
like a 70-yard run.
it was
stiff-armed
crazy.
a guy down the
And not only
sideline.
that,
But
he
here's the-
ran so violently. You're like, that dude he tore his ACL.
But do you want to
But-
know something?
but
Let
at
me say
this-
this. Let me
yeah,
say
go
this.
ahead.
Let me say
Sorry.
this. Do you know who's in a way likes to mentor Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, no. He's
Do you
that.
know, and
as
that's just a
specimen-
mental. We're talking mental hurdle. We're not talking about. We know Saquon knows how to run, but someone that really thinks that he has what it takes is Adrian Peterson coming back from. I know when these players get injuries, you know who they look to? Players that had the similar injuries, and how do they overcome these
I think
injuries?
they're
I don't think
comparable.
anyone's.
I'm not saying
second-guessing is
Saquon
hard.
Barkley
Yeah.
is going to. Well, it's not even hard. It's not hard. I may have the heart to want to go out there and do that, but it's still a mental hurdle
Well, just-
with an
but I
injury
mean,
like
there's
that.
Let me tie a bonus.
But go ahead.
So he's comparable as a physical specimen. All that stuff is good. He can bounce back. Not saying he can't. When you're drafting, you gotta reduce risk
For sure.
You gotta make you're making
yeah.
decisions based on
Especially
what
in
you
the
can
first
prove.
round.
So yeah, there's a chance that Saquon will pick up like Adrian Peterson did, but the much more likely thing I think is that they're going to play it safe with him because it's a good coaching staff.
It
They're
would
not
make sense.
irresponsible.
Well,
they're
'cause they
not
got a lot of money
there's-
invested.
There's a lot of money. They're not.
Yes.
They want to make the playoffs, but they're not a team that's in a championship window right now.
Right.
There's no need to rush them back.
Correct.
I think the safer bet would be to not draft him there because the value is just to me in the second round.
Right.
Now
And-
your
and
draft
let
is
me-
going earlier.
Yeah,
It's
which
a
I
different
respect.
strategy.
But let me give you a name that I would say would be in my top 10, and I don't think was in yours, and that is a running back who the last 2 years extrapolated over a 16-game season, ran for almost 1,500 yards, caught
see
for
you.
almost 300
I
yards,
see where we're going.
and had 16 touchdowns.
Can you tell me who he plays for?
Yeah, Cleveland Browns.
Dang.
Nick Chubb.
How did that
Nick
happen?
Chubb is a monster. Last year, he only played 12 games, ran for 1,067 yards with 12 touchdowns, and caught for 150. But
That's-
if we extrapolate it out,
Yeah.
14-23 with 16 touchdowns, 200 receiving yards, another 2 touchdowns.
And that's without 12 games. I mean, that's without 16.
Yeah, and the year before, a full 16-game season, 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns, almost 300 yards receiving.
So it's almost like he didn't even need to play those 3 games. You could have sat him.
All I'm arguing is he didn't have worse stats than Barkley when healthy.
Yeah.
And hit us with the devastating number, his yards per carry.
Yeah, so he had the highest yards per rush at 5.6 better than anybody else last year, which is unreal.
The only thing capping Chubb's ceiling
Kareem Hunt.
is Kareem Hunt, third down back.
You're
But you gotta
right,
have that-
but I'll argue that. But he was there and healthy both those 2 years.
Yeah. And you're not going to give him that workload knowing. Look what he's producing, and you're going to have that
So
1-2
you said
punch.
he played 16 games in the season before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did he
games.
play his first season? How many games?
He played 16 games, had 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns rushing, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns receiving. But he was in a timeshare. He wasn't a full. He didn't even start until his third game.
So 2020, he played 12 games, and what are the stats for that?
1,070, 12 touchdowns.
It's literally like if you wanted to, you could have sat him those games without him being injured. And
So counterpoint though is that still fantasy wise he only put up 208.
Yes.
Granted, 12 games as opposed to 16.
Right.
But I feel like Hunt caps him, and you can get better value there as far as someone who's going to put points on the board, and Chubb may fall to you
Right.
second round.
But to me, like what I'm thinking
Robinson over him.
over Chubb.
Yeah.
No.
I think Chubb is a better running back.
yes.
I think Robinson is a safer running back.
I want
Would
to
you
see
take Chubb over JTT?
Yes. Yes, I would.
So who
Really?
gets pushed out here?
That's the issue, right? And so in my thing,
It's just interesting.
setup,
like,
the setup.
Stacking the argument.
Right,
I'm just
right.
saying.
No, I want to see. I want to see the
that-
email between
so-
you and James Robinson because you're high
I mean-
on James.
I mean, in my
better
top 10,
stats than
Saquon
JTT.
got
Yeah,
pushed out.
for sure.
That's why it's not that
And I
I'm
think it's
against
like,
Saquon. I'm
me
just
and you will take Henry out too, probably. So
Yeah.
we would, yeah. So
So
anyway,
if we're going to look at it, we have Hill,
Anyways.
Gibson. No,
like,
no,
go to hell.
no, not at all, not at all. not at
Anyways,
all.
whatever you were saying,
You're wrong.
Forget about it.
No, I'm
Got
coming
this
back
Miller
to it. I'm
Lite.
coming back to it. We have 6. We have Hill. We have 7 Gibson, 8 JTT, 9 Jefferson, and 10 Barkley. But if we were to go back around, what would those be? And in place for Hill, what would you have there?
Well, should we do this after he let him make his point and then
No,
we'll do
no,
that?
no. I'm
was-
done
it's-
with my point.
it's
What I'm
going back to
concerned
that.
about is that do we have the time, knowing the 4 of us, do we have the time to go and name our?
And we don't.
no,
And I think
it's
we
just,
can.
It's just one player each. It's just one player. For
Okay.
example, number 9, I'd put Diggs there.
Okay.
Who would you put in your spot?
What's my spot?
You had number. Come on, it says Phil next to it. It's
James
8.
Robinson.
Oh,
James
yeah.
Robinson. Who did you put there? Who was your argument? Who did you count for
I
that?
put James Robinson. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
What
Who
at
did-
9? Are we talking 9 right now?
On the ones you argued,
So 6 and 7. Who was there in replacement of Hill? Who did
you
you
had
put?
Kelsey and
Yeah,
And then
I
who
had
was your next? And then JTT?
Well, I had JTT and then Kelsey.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then for you,
I strongly say Chubb. I think Chubb on a developing offense
over
You
Barkley.
strongly say Chubb?
Just strongly Chubb. It's a strong Chubb. I think in a developing offense with Mayfield in his 5th year with OBJ back.
Yes.
I just think
That's
it's
another- that's
second
another.
best offensive line maybe in the league. I just think you.
Well, I think you guys had that last year too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I'm going soft Chubb in the first. I'm going hard Chubb in the second.
you know,
That's your issue.
any Chubb is good.
It's about how you bring it home, not how you start, buddy. All right.
All right, so this is the riveting information you're going to be getting every show from us.
Riveting.
How about this though? Just to close the show, what are you guys thinking about all these rumors we're hearing about quarterbacks leaving and going? I heard a
I
rumor.
just mentioned one small thing for
Yeah,
you to
okay,
be
yeah.
a jerk off. Have you guys seen the video floating around for
Anyway.
Happy Gilmore?
Yes, it's so
Adam
good.
Sandler and,
no, it's those are
Shooter
great.
McGavin. You
No,
haven't
those are
seen
great.
it?
Those are
I'm
great.
gonna show you after the show.
Hey, they're great. They
It's
are
the
great
25th anniversary
of the movie. So
Happy
they've actually
Gilmore.
they've been challenging each other. And,
Yeah, it's great. Well, yeah, all
it's
right.
great.
If you
So
haven't seen it, whatever.
the best scene in that movie, like the best line maybe in almost any comedy flick ever, is when Bob Barker turns and goes, or when Happy Gilmore goes, "The price is wrong." Biatch.
I have to go on. I absolutely, and it's top 3 almost. I love Adam Sandler, man. He is great.
Yeah, I'm an Adam Sandler fan.
He
too.
is great, man. I love that guy.
And that movie, Happy Gilmore, had so many quotable lines.
All
Even
his movies.
Ben Stiller's character in that was so underrated.
Yeah.
There was a scene when they were in the nursing home, and he's like, "Oh, your fingers hurt? Well, you just pulled landscaping duty, Grandma. Does anyone else's fingers hurt?"
All right, so round it up. What were you going to say?
So I heard a rumor today that there's a potential trade where Deshaun Watson goes to Dallas and Dak Prescott goes back to Houston.
I don't like that.
Not at all.
I don't like it for
Or
the
who?
disrespect it shows Prescott, to be honest with you. But now we're hearing that Cousins may be going.
Well, Watson is better than Prescott.
and that's why
I
you
don't like it
it.
because he'll be in our division.
That's correct. That's what I thought he would say.
See, no, I think
That's the only
I like
thing you could
Prescott
say.
better.
No.
I don't dislike Prescott.
I like Prescott. Don't get me wrong, but I think that he's on a different tier than Watson.
He likes Prescott because he's not producing as he should to be solidified.
Watson. I mean, Prescott is good. Don't get me wrong.
He is.
Watson is dynamic.
I
There's a
know,
difference.
and that's
you
what'll
can
make
bottle
it.
Prescott up.
You
He's-
put Prescott in that
can
offense
bottle-
with those weapons last year, and that's not a trash division like it was.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying if you have the guys, you got the horses on defense, you got a good corner, you could bottle Prescott up. I think
Deshaun's
I think
different.
Deshaun plays
different.
outside of the numbers.
Correct.
I think
Off
I
of
hate
the
to say
scheme.
this
It's
because it sounds
scarier.
like I'm cutting Prescott down. I think mentally Deshaun Watson sees the whole field better.
He does. I would say
You know,
he does.
and Prescott only really played a couple seasons in college. It was not a pro style offense in Mississippi. So to me, he's still learning. So I like what Deshaun has up here as far as I feel like he really understands.
And he
things.
won.
I'm
He
just going to
played a
say
big game.
Deshaun is scarier
Yeah,
on that team.
I'm not cutting down Dak either.
He's scarier on the team. They got
Deshaun
weapons.
with Amari Cooper
It's
and CD Lamb.
It's
and
scarier.
And the biggest compliment I could pay him is that a Giants fan, I don't hate him. Yeah, I mean he's a guy you get behind. He's a good player.
Right.
I just think Watson is a different beast.
I mean,
me
you
ask you
put
this
anybody
question.
in that offense other than the Red Rocket last year.
Oh, my
anybody.
goodness.
And even he looked good sometimes.
Yeah, I was
You
going to
don't
say
like-
that. I
you
was
don't like
actually going to say
DiNucci?
that. He's right.
You know, like Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. What was it?
DiNucci.
What were we ta- what
Hey,
was
you
our nickname
guys,
for him?
you guys.
Hey, you guys.
Hey,
Ben
listen,
DiNucci.
he
Pizza
wasn't
Pies,
in
locker
long
room.
enough. He
I
wasn't.
tell you guys, he had the best. Listen, at someday he'll tell that story to his
Yeah, it was
grandkids.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Benny.
What is going on with just like we go years where quarterbacks don't move, and this year
Turns to NBA.
They're moving.
has.
Well, here's the
They're-
thing.
They're taking the cue from the NBA player. I think that's
No,
what's
no,
happening.
and that's
let's go division by division and talk about what teams are set for sure going into next year at quarterback.
at quarterback.
Tampa,
Tampa,
LA Rams now,
Buffalo.
KC, Buffalo,
We're not going division by division.
No,
but
but
okay.
I'm saying-
No,
yeah,
just naming them.
Cleveland maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Cleveland's set.
Yep. They're set. They're set.
Who else?
I think
Chargers,
Yeah, Chargers are set.
right?
I think the Giants are. I think Tampa Bay is.
Yep,
We said Tampa.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
So we're
Sorry.
at 7. now.
Atlanta is. I think.
Okay, we'll say maybe. yeah.
I mean, you can't
go
even
with
put
that.
Green Bay in there because Aaron
Nope.
Rodgers' name is on
You
the
can't put the
trading block.
You can't put the Seahawks in there.
Yeah, no, he wants out.
He wants
you
out.
Can't, you can't
Arizona,
put,
did we say
you can't put
Arizona?
the
Say Arizona.
You
thank
can't put the Saints in
We're
there.
at 9. Saints are totally up in
Totally.
the air.
Detroit.
Baltimore,
Yeah. Well,
Pittsburgh's
no, Baltimore's
not-
set.
No.
we're not sure yet.
They're not
We're
sure.
not sure yet because he might
Yeah.
retire.
Yeah.
You didn't see him crying on this.
Detroit. Yeah. Detroit. got
Baltimore.
Goff.
Baltimore is.
No, they're set. They're set.
Oh, you did.
Said, yeah.
I missed that.
So we're talking. I don't know how many. 11 teams
Out of 32.
Who else? Like think about. Like it's insane. It's
is
insanity.
What about
the amount of
Tennessee?
turnover.
What about Tennessee?
Yeah, they're set.
Oh,
They're
they're
set.
set.
They're
12.
set.
That's
Did you
12.
say
No.
Buffalo? You said
Yep,
Buffalo.
said Buffalo.
Miami's not.
Miami, no.
Maybe
No.
you think so, but
You
probably
would think.
no.
they're
yeah.
not. They're
They, even though they've had an incredible season, I don't think they're
Jets,
set.
Jets, no.
Nope. Nope.
Jacksonville is.
Okay. Well,
Are they though?
They are.
We
Are
think,
they
right?
though?
They're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. They are.
Jacksonville.
Okay. Who else is there?
I think we named them.
Yeah.
Chicago's
We
got
might
it.
be forgetting somebody. Yeah, Denver's
No,
not.
we're
really.
working. Yeah. Denver's not.
Washington's not.
I
Nope.
think Oakland is. I think Oakland
Vikings.
is.
The Vikings
No,
are not.
because they're not
Both
even
of
settled
those
between those two.
quarterbacks-
Yeah.
Both of those quarterbacks
Right.
are actually rumored
Right.
to go to Chicago potentially.
not
I heard that Mariota is.
Yeah, and Carr as well.
Okay, so they're-
Chicago's just anybody. Send us anybody.
Hey, anybody got a Ben DiNucci sent him
Mullen.
at his grandmother?
We-
49ers,
pizza
they're
pies.
not.
Stop doing that.
New England. New England, they're not.
She makes a mean minestrone.
All right, I think we got the point. Yeah, I think we got everybody.
It's the whitest way I've ever
The
heard.
Boston
minestrone.
Celtics. The Boston Celtics, they're
Boston
not.
Celtics. There you go.
They're not.
So any guesses? Like, who do you think? Where, if you guys are betting, where does Watson end up? Where does Russell Wilson end up?
I think Russell Wilson
that is
stays
the-
in Seattle.
I
Yeah,
think so too.
yeah, for sure.
Watson is man. Watson,
But that's
is
not
just
going to
a
be
wild
that's not
card.
going to be good for him knowing that he wants out. I don't
He
know what's
wants
going to
out
change the
bad.
dynamic of the
He
team
wants
knowing
out
that he
bad.
doesn't
No,
want to play with
I
him
think
anymore.
I think they're just him and Carroll are close.
Yeah,
what I'm
but
hearing
the
is that
offensive
Carroll
line
had a
is
meeting with
trash.
him. Yeah, they got to fix the offensive
Watson
line.
ends up with the Jets, I think.
I heard he doesn't want to go there.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
Who the hell wants to?
I heard he doesn't want to go there. I'd say Yeah, Watson, man.
Minnesota? I mean, is that the rumors we're hearing that Cousins leaving?
Yeah, I mean,
who do they
Well,
want?
Watson has a no trade, doesn't he? Or
Yeah,
something?
he gets a name.
I think that he might. I've heard Miami is. Like
I've
a big
heard
player.
Miami too.
For Miami, too.
I think that
And
might
they
be good for him as
and
well.
They get
Tua.
Texans get back to
I mean,
I don't think that's good for them, though. That's not good for them.
here's
the
the...
Texans.
Yeah.
Well, if Watson doesn't want to play there,
You don't
they
wanna
get
play
to it back there and get picks too.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's not. Tua's not going to make a difference.
Here's my thought.
They're
You
get a-
crushed. Texans are done. The
You get
Texans are done
a
right
top
now.
5 pick back and picks.
The Texans will take a long time to get where they want to be, and they thought that that's where they wanted to be. It's going to take a long time to rebuild that team to be.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be there. So
Who?
Watson.
That's the point. But I'm saying with that, J.J. Watts, Hopkins, like they have just shredded the
that's my
entire
point.
team.
They're
It's going to take a
rebuilding.
while.
Yeah, so
it's going to take a long
you
time to
rebuild.
get
Think
there.
about this: if
I
you just
just-
get a pick back, you got to try to draft a quarterback. If you get the quarterback that was drafted 5th last year, and you get the picks, you got kind of a year head start on your rebuild.
Here's my funny take on this: is we decided not to go around and argue our last 5 picks all individually.
Now we're arguing
'Cause
this.
for time, and then we bring up the quarterback carousel, which we
That's-
could go on for 4 weeks
That's
with.
probably fair, and I think you wanted to bring up one kind of,
What is that? What that mean?
I was going to do that stupid.
What were you doing?
So, but then I stopped myself because I knew what you were going to say. Quit being white, and
I wasn't going to say that.
well,
No.
okay.
I was going to.
Yeah, okay.
I was.
That's
I don't. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go down on a limb here. I don't consider Italians
Wonder
white,
Bread
but
over there.
I'm going to leave that. I'm
I
going to
don't
leave that
consider
alone.
Italians white.
They're not white.
No, the Italians aren't.
Italians are
So
white,
what-
bro.
Italians, Polish.
No,
Who do you
Polish,
wanna talk
Polish
about?
are white.
No, they're
Italians aren't white.
White people don't consider Polish.
Okay,
people
let's go
white.
back. We're going to.
we're just offending
You didn't
everybody.
say that.
Boom, 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 boom.
Any other race we can destroy.
Mexicans aren't
Hey,
Mexican. I'm
Germans,
kidding.
you're white too.
All right, so what were we going to say? Somebody want to make a point about something?
You wanted to talk about a player we lost.
Are you doing your jumping jacks right now?
Yeah, she is. Oh no.
Wrap
we
it up,
wanted
B.
to we wanted to say that we do feel terrible about Benson Jackson.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
passed.
Yes.
I had him in 2012 on my fantasy team, and he had not a breakout year. He had a consistent year with Tampa Bay. Was a surprise. I drafted him low, and he had almost 80 receptions, 12 touchdowns. Just a great player. And do we know what happened?
So they found him dead in his apartment. I'm hearing rumors about like he was really bad
Alcoholism,
alcoholic. Yeah.
depression.
It's sad, pretty sad story. The guy's
post-concussion.
37, 38
Yeah, he's
years
not-
old.
Yep,
young
yep,
guy.
yep.
Yeah, young guy.
And probably still in the kind of shape that he can play if he wanted
Yeah.
to.
Big condolences to all the family.
Rest
and
in peace.
friends and
Yeah, man. Rest in peace. I'm not going to
Absolutely.
do my.
That got sad.
No,
Please,
okay.
please don't.
I mean, you have the little more in your cup.
Yeah, so guys,
So,
please
You can pour it
Subscribe.
follow, hit that notification bell, Instagram, Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room.
Thumbs up
YouTube.
everywhere.
out.
TikTok.
Any platform.
Watch the Delano dance, TikTok.
You know, body yaddy 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 yaddy. Sorry, I don't even like it, but
Peace, guys.
You look good, man. You look good dancing.
So you know the nice about it. Try to give them life, I hope they understand. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, you know what I know, my arms open, hearts broken, fixing, filled with this empty and broke. Oh, know what I know, hearts open, arms open, when I sin, I fall straight to my knees. Yeah, it's like we holding on to Reese, hating, lacking luster from the Father, cause there's no relation.